this winter's project was to make it better in the dirt and a little lighter, and I'll just walk through and show you all the stuff I did to accomplish that. And I think the bike is a whole lot better in the dirt than it ever was, and very pleased with the results. So we'll see what you think. Just a quick look at the bike, the way it is. I got the GS Adventure rear wheel on there to match the black Woody's Wheelworks 21-inch front wheel. It also has GS Adventure shocks on it that gives it the little higher stance. And turned out that work really good in the dirt, a lot better than the stock ones on the GS. I didn't think there'd be that much of a difference, but huge difference off-road. They work really well. And I got a amazing deal on eBay with them too. So, you know, if you can find them, it's not a bad swap. And you get a look at the Woody's front wheel. Just killer quality. It's really nice stuff. And then I was able to modify my front fender to elevate it about 3/4 of an inch up into the triple. And you can kind of see in there how it nests up in there. The only downside to this conversion is the lower triple height to the tire. Yeah, still on occasion you're going to get a rock that kind of crashes through there, makes a bit of noise, complains a little bit on the way through, makes you a little nervous. But it's the best of a you know, almost perfect situation. You know, keeps the mud out of my face, and you know, and it will protect the bike too from all those rocks getting, like, you know, shot out of there. But and you can see tucked in there is a Hyper Pro steering damper. Another little thing that I learned from Woody's Wheelworks is they recommend a steering damper on the 1200gs, and it's not an easy thing to do on these bikes without spending a lot of money. So what I did was found a damper on eBay and spent probably a little bit more than I needed to, around 150 bucks, but the difference it makes off-road, probably the biggest change, the transformation, was adding this, even with the stock wheel size. If you do nothing else to the bike and you want to make it better in the dirt, steering damper is the way to go. And so you can see, you might notice I built my own mounts for it. I think they're pretty groovy. Very, very pleased with it. The stainless stuff seems to be my signature. I work a lot in stainless, and this is all done on the J-mill. You're probably wondering what that is. That's a drill press and a file. That's you know, work with what you got, and kind of got some neat stuff, you know, done that way. You know, and so before I get up on top, I wanted to show you this spring. In one of my videos, you'll see me crossing through like a big puddle and stuff, and where I ride, that spot's where I flooded the bike this spring. Hydrolock the engine, so I built a permanent snorkel for it. And so I go from like a 28-inch water fording capability all the way up to you know, close to 40 inches. I gained almost 10 inches or a little bit more water fording capability. So you can see the snorkel tucks all the way up in there, and the intake is under the tank, kind of tucked back a little bit. And you can see right there. So the air gets sucked in right there. Haven't seen absolutely any downside to maybe the little extra resistance of that plumbing, but it really boosts your confidence quite a bit. There's not much that I can't go through now, you know. So anyway, pretty cool. And I guess since I'm down here, might as well keep looking. This is the bash plate I made, inspired by Black Dog Cycle Works bash plate. It seems like the only properly engineered bash plate in the market. You know, they forego the cast bungs on the bottom of the engine that BMW uses that can, when hit hard enough, punch a hole in your engine. So, you know, you can see right there, if you look in, there's a stronger horizontal, you know, mount on the engine that's all finned out, super strong. So that's the front mount, connects right to there. And then the back mount, instead of connecting to the engine, reaches up and mounts to the frame itself. And then there's a stainless steel transition there that, when hit hard enough, will absorb the energy of the impact. And so, this is the only way to mount a bash plate to a GS safely. So give credit to those guys coming up with a really quality product. And just because I'm a little bit more handy than I have dough, I just made my own. And again, since we're here, made my own pivoting foot pegs. You can kind of see what's going on there. Has the regular spring from the stock setup there, but I have no return spring like pivot pegs do. Just stops, so it stops in its length of travel, and where your foot comes off, that's where the platform stays. So whether you buy them or make them, this is an awesome idea. Just makes you feel so connected to the bike when you're standing on the pegs. Really cool. And then this is one of my engine guards up front. You can see stainless again, kind of groovy. Working out really good. I mean, not that fortunately I have had the opportunity to test it, but kind of cool. And then because of the GS Adventure shock travel is a little bit longer, I had to modify the guard, the engine guard there, add that little step, for the tail lever to drop down a little farther. And then I guess you can see there's the oil cooler guard with its kind of like ghost GS lettering in it, just made by drilling different hole sizes. But that's not why it's there. It's there to protect it. So, and then the cut down GS windscreen, again stainless, and I like the natural look. I like to show my work. I don't go through all this trouble to hide the welds, and it's kind of neat to see the heat soak in the metal. And I'd have to admit the screen is probably a little on the low side for for seasonal use. I mean, in the spring and the late fall, you use a little bit more protection, and there's a little turbulence, right in the visor area of the helmet with this. So I'd probably add 2 inches to it at least, or not at least, but no more, to make it a little bit better, proper balance between, the enduro feel and, full protection. So, and walk over here, and what's cool about some of the BMW engineering is the asymmetrical quality of this bike, and so that's integrated in the other guard over here. And what's cool about this is, very strong, extremely strong guard, but it looks cool too. And then you can see down here again, to deal with the longer travel of the GS Adventure suspension, I added foot extensions, little stainless foot extensions down here that gets the rear wheel off the ground. And then this is the foot extension for the kickstand. And obviously it keeps the bike from leaning over as far, but also never putting function in front of form. It's removable, so you can still use the kickstand to break a bead on a tire if you're out on the trail and you need to do so. And then if you look at the controls on top, this is some of the original stuff that I did to the bike. There's the GPS holder and roll chart mount for the for trail use, and it's a quick release design. Pops right up, and then the roll chart clips in for the same base. And of course, I'm one of these bikes that I really don't need the radar detector, but it just kind of keeps me company. And there's a camera mount right there. Again, kind of like a little special adapter on the camera, helps it slide in and lock in place, so the camera is, quickly accessible if you want to take a picture while you're riding on the trail. And then right there's my GPS mount and cradle that I made. Pretty cool. Clamshell enclosure. Switches over here, right there. And there's a dummy switch. I thought I'd have room for two, but apparently not. But anyway, cramp buster. I think my first long trip, I had, some short-term nerve damage in my hand. I mean, I was doing, you know, upwards of like 15 hours on the bike. Just, I'm like an ultra distance trail runner, when I'm, not on the bike. And so I'm kind of used to doing things for a long time, but my hands are not. And this has really helped, since then. But, we got to be careful off road, and even shifting. It kind of keeps you from rolling off the throttle quite as much. So it's not perfect, but it definitely, for long rides, it's helped me a lot. And that's about it. I always seem to think I'm forgetting something. Well, getting back to the bash plate. To make the bash plate was a huge project. It probably encompassed, 100 hours worth of work. Because to build that, I needed to bend that thick of aluminum, and so I needed a hydraulic press. And so I finally found enough scrap metal to make that. And so it's a 20-ton hydraulic press made out of quarter-inch sheet steel and all this quarter-inch tube steel that I finally was able to find. And it's got a rolling trolley on it, so you can maneuver the bottle wherever you need. And then the whole ratcheting liftio thing for the platen. And then I have a brake that slides into that I made, that I bend the aluminum with. So I had to do all that before I could do that. So sometimes there's a lot more involved than you think when it comes to making something, but something I'll always have now and use it for everything else. But that's it. Thanks for watching, and then maybe next time we can talk about that. That's an '87 Yamaha FJ1200 that I believe I've finally succeeded in exorcising all the ugly demons from it, and again, I've made or modified everything on that motorcycle, even my own headers and exhaust, and built the frame, the tank, the rear trellis, the handlebars. So anyway, who knows? If you guys are interested in this video, maybe I'll do one on that. So thanks for checking it out. Talk to you later.